Hollywood has always thrived on glamour, spectacle, and carefully polished illusions. But every so often, a story comes along that shatters the facade, pulling audiences into a drama so raw and messy, it feels more like a courtroom thriller than celebrity gossip. That's exactly what's happening now. At the heart of it all is Blake Lively, an actress whose elegant red carpet image is beginning to collapse under mounting allegations, and Taylor Swift, one of the most powerful figures in pop culture, stepping forward not as a friend, but as a witness who may hold the key to the truth. The dates are set. Between October 20th and 25th, Taylor will sit under oath and give her deposition. It won't be a concert, an awards show, or a glamorous photo op. It will be a cold, stark room with the lawyers on either side, cameras recording her every word, and a legal record that could shape not just the case, but the way the world views some of Hollywood's biggest names. For Blake, the timing could not be worse. Judge Lyman has already signaled his frustration, openly criticizing her legal team for delays and evasions. He ordered her to hand over private communications with Taylor months ago, yet excuses kept coming. Deleted signal messages, time-consuming data retrieval, technical delays, the explanations sounded less like obstacles and more like stalling. And in the eyes of the court, stalling looks a lot like hiding. That's why Taylor's testimony matters so much. Baldwin's attorneys claim Blake went beyond friendship, beyond loyalty, and crossed into something far darker, asking Taylor to delete incriminating texts, pressuring her to manage the narrative, and pulling her into a legal storm she never wanted. Those are allegations of tampering, manipulation, and dishonesty. If Taylor confirms even part of it, Blake's defense could unravel entirely. Behind the scenes, whispers suggest Baldwin's team already has some of those messages. Technology has a way of resurrecting what people try to bury, and sources say backups and device extractions have recovered texts that directly contradict Blake's sworn statements. Gossip blogger Perez Hilton has fanned the flames, claiming the messages are damning enough to destroy her credibility. If those rumors prove true, the deposition isn't just important, it's explosive. It's worth remembering that only months ago, Blake's camp dismissed the idea of Taylor ever being dragged into this mess. They mocked the subpoena, called it desperate, and assured the press it would never amount to anything. But now, not only has Taylor been subpoenaed, she's agreed to cooperate. That single decision flipped the narrative. Taylor isn't hiding. She isn't shielding Blake. She's walking into the storm with full awareness of the consequences. And those consequences ripple far beyond one actress. Blake's marriage to Ryan Reynolds, long portrayed as Hollywood's most charming partnership, is suddenly under scrutiny too. Ryan, who has mastered the art of likability, has been rolling out headline after headline about his philanthropy and good deeds. He's donating, making surprise appearances, even producing nostalgic projects that remind the public of his wholesome persona. But critics argue the timing is strategic, a way to reinforce the Reynolds Lively brand while Blake's credibility crumbles in court. But the glossy PR efforts can't overshadow the legal facts. Judge Lyman's courtroom isn't swayed by charm or headlines. What matters are records, evidence, and sworn testimony. And this is where Blake's problem deepens. Some of her sworn statements are already in danger of being contradicted by digital evidence. If Taylor verifies that Blake asked her to delete or hide texts, the accusation of perjury becomes unavoidable. And perjury is not a branding issue, it's a crime. Blake's lawyers know the stakes. That's why they've recruited heavy hitters. Alexander Shapiro, once a clerk for Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, is renowned for appeals. Jonathan Bach, a seasoned white-collar defense lawyer, has fought countless high-stakes cases. Their strategy is clear: protect Blake now, but build a record for the appeals court later. If they lose at this level, they'll claim rulings were biased or unfair. But no matter how strong their strategy, they can't stop Taylor's testimony from landing like a hammer. Taylor herself doesn't need to say much. Even a small acknowledgement that Blake asked her to manage the narrative, that she felt pressured, that deletions were suggested, would be enough to tilt the scales. Jurors don't forget. Audiences don't forget. Once the perception of dishonesty takes root, every word afterward sounds like spin. And in this case, spin isn't just damaging, it's devastating. The friendship angle only intensifies the drama. For years, Blake and Taylor were inseparable in the public eye. Vacation photos, birthday celebrations, intimate dinners, it was a showcase of loyalty. But today that bond is fractured beyond repair. Taylor quietly unfollowed Ryan Reynolds, refused to post any defense of Blake, and now prepares to testify under oath. The symbolism is powerful. A friendship once sold as unbreakable has become the centerpiece of a legal nightmare. Other names are being pulled into the storm too. Isabella Ferrer, once a peripheral figure in this saga, now looks more anxious and frazzled in public. Observers whisper that she may soon be dragged deeper into the testimony web. This isn't just Blake versus Baldwin anymore. It's a widening circle of reputations, each vulnerable to being tarnished by association. And what about Kris Jenner, Hollywood's master strategist? Some insiders suggest she's watching closely, considering ways to spin the chaos into opportunity. If there's one thing the Kardashian-Jenner empire knows, it's how to turn scandal into spectacle. But for Blake, the lesson may come too late. The Kardashian machine thrives on controversy. Blake, however, built her image on stability, elegance, and control. This kind of scandal is kryptonite. Rumors of settlement hang over the case like smoke. Some speculate that both sides are quietly exploring deals to make the circus disappear. A few signed papers, no damages, no admission of guilt, just a clean exit. But settlements don't erase suspicion. If Blake accepts silence, the public will see it as survival, not victory. And survival isn't the narrative she once built her career on. For Taylor, the deposition won't end her career. She's not the one on trial. She'll leave the courtroom and step back into her global empire, her credibility intact. But for Blake, it's different. This testimony could mark the beginning of the end of her carefully curated public image. A single admission from Taylor could unravel everything Blake has fought to preserve. When the cameras finally catch Taylor entering that deposition room, it won't be for a music video or a glamorous premiere. It will be for something far colder, far more permanent. The legal record. Every word she says will be dissected, replayed, and remembered. And for Blake Lively, those words could signal the collapse of everything she built her career upon. Blake Lively entered this fight believing she could control the narrative. But the narrative is slipping. The courtroom doesn't bend to star power, and when Taylor Swift takes the stand, the final chapter of this saga may be written not in Hollywood lights, but in sworn testimony. This isn't just gossip, it's history in the making, and once it's told, there's no going back. So, what do you think? Is this the end of Blake Lively's carefully polished image, or just another chapter in Hollywood's endless cycle of reinvention? Only time and Taylor Swift's testimony will decide. And before you go, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Because in a case this shocking, this messy, and this consequential, the story is far from over.